Okay, we are all set.
Good morning, everyone. Excuse me, as it's 8:30 a.m. on February 2nd, 2026, in the appointed time for the regular Commissioners, DeKalb County Commissioners meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. Under old business, we have the CCMG bid awards that we will take care of first.
Morning.
Morning.
So we have the bids we take for 2020, was it 2025 Community Crossings Matching Grant. We received, remember, 5 bids, and after the bid review, Brooks Construction was the lowest bidder and a good bidder, most responsive bid. And I reviewed these along with BF&S, and I also sent them to Andrew Cruz, and he also reviewed the bids. So I got the paperwork here, the contract, Form 96 to sign, but my recommendation would be to move forward with awarding the contract to Brooks Construction for $1,113,742.
You've heard the recommendation, gentlemen. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to award it to Brooks Construction.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the bid from Brooks Construction. Does anyone in the audience have anything to say?
All 3 to sign.
Anything more from the commissioners? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 3-0.
You sign, print and date on that one. I need you to
Okay.
That's this one. I'll send you everything. Okay. Well, that is all I have for community crossings, unless anybody else has any other questions. Okay.
How's the salt holding up?
Getting low.
Getting low.
It's getting low. I've had it on order for a while now, and actually I just called them on the way here, left a voicemail, seen where it's at. We still have some salt, but January's been a hard month.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I've got a little thing here I'll share with you. It's kind of interesting. Let me find it here. I know I brought it in with me. So from January 1st to January 28th, we worked 24 of those days. In those 24 days, we drove 43,255 miles. We used 11,571 gallons of diesel.
That's a good way to start out the budget on a new year.
Yeah, and that's, yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
January's been a hard month. Went through a lot of material.
February's looking good too right now.
Yeah, February's starting out all right too, isn't it? Cheering for the groundhog to not see a shadow. So, anyway, you guys have anything else for me this morning?
Do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I had, and I'll get this stuff filed and get it to the state and get us moving, and Susan, I'll send you everything later today as well. So,
Thank you.
thank you, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate your work. And especially your staff.
Tired.
Understandably. If we could, gentlemen, I'd like to move down to the VA office hours under miscellaneous. We have the two young ladies here to address. Is Mike, is that, should be blue?
Hit the green, the gray button.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay,
Good
thank you.
morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for seeing us. So the purpose of this meeting is to request permission to readjust our office hours to pair up with the health department and other county offices. Right now, we open for business for the public at 8 a.m. and we have a break for lunch between 12 and 1, so we shut down for that hour and reopen at 1 and stay open until 4. We're asking for consideration to open at 8:30 and then have a break for lunch between 12 and 1 and stay open until 4:30, which would be identical to the health department, which is in our building as well.
Gentlemen, your pleasure.
I like the idea of them being open a little later. So, till 4:30 instead of 4. I see no problem with it.
Yeah, I don't either. There's no reason they shouldn't be on the same hours as the rest of them.
And I would agree that it just makes sense
Yeah.
for everybody to be on the same hours.
I think Andrew checked, there's no restrictions on hours as far as the state's concerned.
There's no, yeah, I don't know of any restrictions, and I appreciate her reaching out to, I think the state maybe, and checking, confirming that. They just have to have a minimum number of hours, which they obviously meet. So I see no legal problem with going in this direction.
I would so entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second,
We have a motion and a second to allow the VA to change their hours to what the county has. Any other comments, questions?
I just want to clarify the health department and some of the others, because there's others that are 8 to 4. So it's not 8:30 to 4:30 across the board, just so we have clarification.
Okay, thank you.
When are these hours going to start?
Could we have those start effective tomorrow?
Well, at least in that building, everybody, same time. Or the health department at least. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-1, or 3-0. The snow got to me.
3 to 1, we got 4.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, you're welcome. And so, I know we're not talking about this, but I just want to say to my 3 commissioners, what an honor it has been to be the Veteran Service Officer for DeKalb County. I went into that position with 2 things in mind: to be humble and serve veterans and their families. And the other thing was, I just wanted to make the county commissioners proud. I wanted to have this office reflect a humble spirit, integrity, and just and respect for each other. So I'm hopeful as the interview process will come down the line. I wanted to give you a 6 months notification, so we get that right person in there. But Samantha has been working side by side with me diligently, learning and watching, and she would be my candidate to endorse. But ultimately, I know you'll go through the inner process, just like you did with me, and you'll make that final decision. So, but I want to thank you for all your support.
As I remember, it was the second time around when we finally appointed you, and I was here before you, and I'm going to be here after you, it looks like. I didn't
Yes.
figure that would happen, but it's been a pleasure, been my pleasure to have you on board and fulfilling the duties that you do so well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
My goal was to go out when I turned 67 years old, but as you know, with my mom's health, couldn't be helped, so just have to leave a little earlier. God's plan.
20
not my-
years, that's pretty early.
Yeah.
I've only heard great things. I even had a story over the weekend about how you guys went and helped out a vet that had a stroke. And then you went to the hospital and helped him get all the benefits and everything. So really appreciate it. I've heard only great things out of you guys' department.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what you do.
And on behalf of the county, I would like to thank you for your service to the county. I've heard great things about your office, and obviously nothing bad. It's been all just very nice, and how great you are with the services you provide. So thank you on behalf of the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
I got one more thing. Had really big shoes to fill, and you did a good job of filling those shoes.
I did have big shoes to fill.
I mean, that was.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excuse me. Pardon me? Oh, as we have time, we address the payroll.
Motion to approve payroll.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We have the claims for approval.
I'll make a motion to accept claims as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the claims as presented. Is there any discussion? Comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
you.
We have the minutes for approval.
Somehow I missed the minutes.
Let me look.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, they were in there.
Yeah.
They're in the discussion topics folder.
Oh,
Starts with January 20 in a PDF.
Would you like to,
we table it. I didn't get a chance to read them.
yeah,
I just skip it and move on.
Yeah, just skip it for now.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I missed it too somehow. I don't know how I missed
Do you have them now, or do you want me to just
it. I have to log in. It kicked me off here in a second. Double check to make sure.
I just email them to you guys.
Okay.
Can see it right now.
now we can wait till after 10 o'clock. Or table until the next meeting.
Wait till after 10 o'clock. I can scan through it during break.
Pardon me?
I can scan through it during break unless Bill wants more time.
Okay. We can move down to the 2025 receipts and expenditures and total compensation approval.
Those are, we have to do this every year. I'm required to post and present to you and the council all of the expenditures and receipts that were done in 2025, and then the posting of the 2025 total compensation that we're required to do, which is also also called a 100R, that report that I have to submit. So I bring it to you, and then you guys approve the documents and sign it, and then the council will sign it at their next.
Motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the 2025 county receipts and expenditures as presented. Is there any discussion or questions? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Those are minutes.
think we have time yet. The horse and buggy late fee. Excuse me. Susan, I believe, got the phone call from a gentleman, an Amish gentleman, that didn't pay the buggy fee on time, and was expected to pay the $200 addition for being late, and I called him, I had a good discussion with him, and I believe the final was that he was going to pay the 200, but he did ask me to bring this item in front of the commissioners to ask that the $200 late fee should not equal what the regular fee is. He thought that was just too much. I told him I would bring it in front of the commissioners for a discussion, if nothing else.
Well, we can't just change it on the spot, because we have the ordinance. So we can't really change it.
Yeah, well, let me clarify
Moving on.
about, if we changed it, it wouldn't be just, I told him, number one, I could not change it because it's the ordinance, and number two, we would have to change the ordinance, but he agreed he'd probably pay the $200 extra. So that part was settled, but he did ask me to bring it in front and ask if it couldn't get reduced for future by changing the ordinance. So, just brought it up for discussion.
What was your guys' thoughts because you guys did this a couple of years ago, didn't you? What was your thoughts on the 200 when you guys were going through it?
Well, I think they've got almost the whole year before to get that plate. It's not like it's, well, you only got 2 weeks, you only got 30 days, you've got almost unlimited amount of time for them to get in there and get the plate. Was there any other concessions made as far as getting the plate to them?
So I think
Hmm.
they all are aware.
This was a renewal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I personally, I don't see us changing the ordinance for one late person. I mean, if there was several of them, that might be a little different story, but just because one is late and he's had to do, heads up, that, it's due by January. I can't see changing it at this point.
I don't see a point of changing it either. They gave them plenty of heads up, it sounds like.
We have had others that were late as well, and they just paid it, because that's what the ordinance says.
Okay. I will pass that on to him. Moving down. We have 10 minutes. Go clear to the bottom to use the courthouse for a wedding. Discussion only.
I don't think we should get into that business, renting a courthouse. initially I thought, well, it's okay with the sheriff, and it's okay with the other commissioners, maybe possibility, but I think it's something we don't want to get into, and it could just turn into a nightmare. A lot of people wanting to do it, and it's just going to be a challenge, my opinion.
I agree. You start getting, I mean, how big are the weddings gonna get, and then you start getting all that, and then they start getting mad about, on the weekends, that's gonna give us cost, and then it's just, it's too complicated for, I feel.
Liability issues, insurance issues, and just a lot of issues.
We have a level of security that you need at the courthouse because of the courts and the clerks and everybody is working in courthouse and the other departments, so I think that makes it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be a wedding chapel. I know the clerk can marry, or used to be able to marry people.
And the
Private
judge can
ceremony
too,
in the clerk's office, but that's, I think we keep it that way.
I just don't think that they do it in the courthouse anymore.
Oh, the clerk doesn't?
Like, I mean, like their deputies are whatever, deputized or whatever that gives them that ability, but they don't do it like in this facility. They may do it outside somewhere because they are able to do that with their powers, but they don't do it inside anymore.
Oh, interesting. I would take the consensus of the commissioners is that, do I need to contact, or are you going to?
If one of you could, I'd appreciate it, only because I'm heading out for legislative conference as soon as we're done here. But I will make sure that we have that phone number in the email. Let me look.
Do that if you send it to me.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay. Well, my 2 cents is that this is a public building, and as such, it should be for the public, not for private events. If it is in the best interest of the public, yes. For all kinds of reasons, including security. Yeah, it's not in the best interest of the county. So I will make that phone call to them after you send it to me. Thank you. Still have 8 minutes, 7 minutes. The Grand Marquis request. Do you have opinions on that, gentlemen?
You wanna explain a little bit the background of that, Susan?
Yes. Okay, so a few of our residents were relocated from Sunny Meadows to the Grand Marquis. Brenda worked out all the logistics, and for some reason, a couple others happen to be going there, and now the Grand Marquis is asking if we are going to furnish furniture for a couple residents. And then there's also a current one there that believes that we're supposed to pay his first 2 months' rent. That was not part of the agreement between Brenda and the gentleman. So Marquis has only asked me about that twice. I'm assuming that it probably will come again, so we need to decide if we want to do that. And we also need to decide if we're doing furniture. Now, Brenda and Lita had both responded in the email chain explaining that they had talked to these 2 individuals and that nothing had been needed. So I'm still being asked, so I need your guys' guidance on how you want to do it, or if, I don't know, or if you want Bill to take it to the committee, but his committee is kind of a different committee.
So so we had 2 that went there, and we furnished them with whatever they needed at the time. And then one went to another facility, and then the one that we had to evict. So now, though one is leaving the other facility and going to the Grand Marquis now, but when he went to the other facility, we asked him if he needed any items for the transition. And I believe if he did or didn't, he received anything at that time. So everybody was given items that they needed for the transition of initially where they went to. And with the one that we did have to evict, she was allowed, and her family did come pick up all of the items that were in her room, including her bed, her dresser, and all the things that were left behind when she was evicted. So she does have all those items with her at this time. So the one gentleman that thinks that he was going to get 2 months' worth of rent paid, I have talked to him personally, explained to him that was never a part of the agreement. I think he has a little bit of confusion because in the initial, back in the summertime, he was going to go to an apartment and they needed 1 month rent and a down payment for it, in which we explained that if they got the apartment, that maybe that's something we could do for him. That apartment fell through, was never discussed again, and then he went to the Grand Marquis. So, Lita could probably talk about Sean. Did we ever give the one that went, now it's going there, did he ever receive anything? I don't want to say too many names, but Mark, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
He went where he wanted to go, even though it wasn't something that Brenda thought was a good place, but he was bound and determined, and that's where he went. And he was supplied what he needed when he went, just like all the rest. We had another one, one of the females went to Grand Marquis first. She needed a few things, we got them for her, but nothing was paid for rent. That was never agreed upon, and Grand Marquis, to be honest, would not return my calls and would not return Brenda's. So the communication with them wasn't great until they didn't have any money coming in. Which, Matt, I'm not sure, like Kellen said, his confusion or whatever, but he was told, no, we weren't going to. But he kept telling Grand Marquis that we were, and that's how they started calling me and went from there, but.
And Matt's been there for 4 or 5 months now? He
Yes.
left in the, yeah, he left in the fall
Yes,
sometime. So he's been there for a bit. He wasn't one of the last ones transitioned out.
no. No. And from what, everything that they needed when they went to the first place they chose, they all basically chose where they wanted to go. The county didn't say, this is where you have to go. They all had their choice of where they wanted to go. And we helped them with what they need at whatever facility or on their own. So to come back, and the ones that I did a lot more for, I made it very clear, this is it. I may have showed up at your door several times, but this is it. You've got everything that we feel you need. And so made sure they understood. So it's tough, I'm sure, but yeah, I don't think we need to backtrack.
I would agree with that, because it was sort of precedence of residents keep coming back when they go to a different place. At the time, we asked them what they needed. Lita was in charge of making sure everything was given to them that they asked for, they needed within the donations. Just to clarify for anybody that's listening, we had donations for this to give them the items. So
I will agree.
I would agree as well. Since we can't make a negative motion,
I would make the motion for you to send a letter to the Grand Marquis as the president of the commissioners to state that no more would be money, because I've already called and talked to.
I'm willing to do it if you want me.
If you want the attorney, I have a letter sent to him explaining that.
If you all agree, I think attorney only because
That's fine.
she keeps contacting.
Yeah, because she keeps reaching out, and then, so.
so the,
I'll make that motion.
pardon me?
I'll make the motion that attorney send a letter to Grand Marquis.
I'll second, that's fine.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion?
Who should I get the name and address for
I got it.
Susan? Okay.
Anyone from the audience? Hearing nothing, no one, excuse me. All in favor of the motion to send a letter, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
I'll get the letter out.
Thank you, sir. I think that would have more credence. It's a little past 9. Good morning. You can join us, please.
Even brought papers. You want to pass these down? Ready?
Do we, Andrew, need one?
Got one.
Well, then,
Do we have an?
you have
More, yeah, I don't need my own business card. Pass it down.
No, I think we're good now.
no,
Oh, you need one?
please?
Oh, Bill's got two, right here.
Oh,
I'm trying to.
Bill's
make
our
two, one for
hoarder.
each eye.
could you please introduce yourself
Yes,
and
Lana Bergzazi, BCS Management.
pull the microphone closer, please?
Lana Bergzazi, BCS Management.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's been a while. I noted that here in the briefing that I shared, and this can be available for the public. Kind of a written summary of some of the things that we want to talk about today, starting with the history and context. So I first appeared at your meeting, only one of you was here, Bill, in 2019 to talk about the regional sewer district idea for the county. And the reason that we started that conversation was because of a report that I think you've all seen that's called Septic Issues, Collaborative Solutions, that was put together by a number of people that work for the county. The health department, planning, Chris. I think Anton King from the EDC was involved with that. And what that did was identify all the areas throughout the county. I believe there's 23 of them that were identified at the time that have known failing septics, and the health department can confirm this. And they're on lots that are now too small to replace the septic or to economically or reasonably repair them. So in 2019, we presented a county solution that would be a regional sewer district, and the commissioners changed at that time. And then in 2020, of course, we know it was essential business only. And then I talked to a couple other folks, and so I've been at arm's length, kind of keeping track of what's going on with the resolution of the failing septics throughout DeKalb County for this entire time. Here we are today in 2026, almost 7 years later, because Commissioner Dooley stated that a solution for multiple reasons for countywide sewer was something that was a priority to him. So he and I had a discussion about a regional sewer district, and I've spoken with the other commissioners individually about it as well. But here we are formally talking about the why, the whys and the whats of a regional sewer district. So I mentioned the septic elimination, septic issues, you know, putting sewer in communities where septics are failing and a solution is needed, but it goes beyond that. Along the South County line, the Allen County Sewer District, which is now Fort Wayne City Utilities because it has been acquired, has sewer lines very near the North Allen County line and the South DeKalb County line. And the South DeKalb County area, for economic development or other reasons, is completely unclaimed by any kind of municipal utility. So here we are saying, we know, and we've known for a long time, that there are small, isolated communities throughout the county that need some sort of solution for their septic issues. That's the environmental piece of it. We also know that there is a real potential for the city of Fort Wayne to extend lines into DeKalb County, and they can do that. I've cited some code here, I looked it up. They can run lines into DeKalb County if it's otherwise unclaimed, and that would require the permission of the legislative body, which would be the commissioners. However, if you get to a reactive situation where developers want to build homes or other commercial developments and they need sewer right now, well, the city of Fort Wayne is going to be well ahead of you at that time unless you do something to have a system in place that's county represented. So I want to talk a little bit about, and just stop me if you have questions, or we can wait to questions at the end. I want to talk about what a regional sewer district is. A regional sewer district is its own governmental agency. It's not a department of the county. It's not a department of any township. It is its own standalone entity. It is governed by a board of trustees that are appointed by agencies that are yet to be determined if you form a sewer district. That board can be 3, 5, 7, I mean, it can really be up to however many, but we like to keep them reasonably sized for a number of reasons. And that entity has the right and the powers to enter into contracts, to incur debt, to receive grants, and to hire its own employees or contractors at its own discretion once it's up and running. So the reason we're having this discussion now is that a new municipal agency, a new governmental entity like a regional sewer district does basically need to be sponsored or started. But once it's fully operational on its own, it is again its own entity that is self-governed. And I attached the third page here. I attached a somewhat recent, it's from IDEM's website, a map and a list of all the regional sewer districts throughout Indiana. There's 108 of them. They don't all have infrastructure or provide service. I know in Hancock County, you'll see that there's a county-wide sewer district, and it basically serves as the board. The commissioners are the sewer board, and they determine who's going to serve where because there's so many service providers throughout Hancock County, but they don't actually have any lines or plants or anything like that. There's another one, Boone County, the Sugar Creek Boone County Regional Sewer District. That was formed in the 70s, and then some tragedy happened and it never actually got off the ground. We've actually just dissolved that one, and we're forming a new district with a new service area in Boone County. But for the most part, the 108 regional sewer districts that you see here were formed for similar reasons that we're talking about today. So yeah, a regional sewer district, one thing that's nice about a regional sewer district is that it is able to provide service in multiple areas. It doesn't have to all be contiguously connected, your lines or your systems. You can provide service in multiple areas throughout the county where Auburn or Garrett or Waterloo or other municipalities do not provide service. So that's one of the benefits. And then again, regional sewer districts can incur debt and also receive grants, and they're very good at getting grants from SRF and other entities because of the rural septic elimination nature of these organizations. So I've provided a proposal. I've provided some information about our company. I know that I've spoken with all of you, some of you multiple times throughout the years. BCS Management is a municipal regional sewer district administration and planning firm. So we specialize in sewer and water projects. We are not engineers. We do the strategic planning, the financial capital stack. We do the legal. We're not attorneys either, but we put together the petitions and things like that and then run them through your attorney. Public relations, we do the community meetings. We plan where your service areas will be and need to be and how you're going to be able to fund infrastructure projects moving forward. Get your board operational, make sure if you do put pipes in the ground, you know who's going to operate them, get the agreements put together, and we do things like billing, websites, ongoing administration, full service regional sewer district. That's our specialty. It's kind of our niche, if you will. So the proposal that we put together is very similar to the one we put together in 2019. It includes scoping where the service areas could and should be, and developing a petition and working with you all. If you were to move forward with this, then the commissioners would lead the charge on how the board should be sized and who should be appointed to it, approval of the service areas. We would, of course, start with the septic issues report because that's of key importance. But then we would also look at your TIF districts, your economic development areas that are outside of the towns, the cities, and economic development potential areas on the south border where residential might happen, and just identify what all strategically and intentionally where the service areas should be, and put all that together, facilitate your public meeting, work with IDEM. We have a really good relationship with the folks at IDEM. They like us because we are here to help sewer districts be more efficient and self-sustaining, and a lot of them are not. They need the help that we provide. And get that petition approved, and once that petition is approved, the commissioner of IDEM will issue an order, and that order means that you now officially have an organization and it's active. So the second phase, or the next part, would be we would provide board training, where we would teach the board, even if they're elected officials or people with public service experience, we would teach them about the specifics of a regional sewer district and their responsibilities and the specific nuances fiscally of regional sewer districts, and everything focused around Indiana Code 13-26, which is rights, duties, and powers of regional sewer districts, so that you have a knowledgeable board specifically about regional sewer districts.
What was that code section again?
13-26. And get this organization up and running. What's not included, I want to be clear, there's nothing included in here that is actually putting any infrastructure in the ground. What this does is establish an entity, establish its service areas, establish its board, and priority projects. From there, the board would determine which projects they might want to move forward with actually putting sewer service in the ground. So this is not a proposal to put sewer lines all over the county. This is not a proposal to actually put sewer lines anywhere. It's to put together an agency that can when the infrastructure installation makes sense.
Questions, comments, gentlemen?
So I approached her probably about a year ago, had some conversations. One of my bigger concerns, and one of the reasons I kind of brought this up, was I do not believe, and I still strongly do not believe, that I want Fort Wayne having any utilities in DeKalb County. As I understand, they can cross county lines. They are at 427 at the county line. At 327, they're about a mile and a half south. Nothing is stopping them from coming across. We start having our residents paying utilities to another county, to another city. It's a slippery slope of them continuing to encroach into DeKalb County and I am a firm believer in keeping DeKalb County DeKalb. I want to keep it controlled within DeKalb County. We have the control over it, where things are going to be, not having City of Fort Wayne or Allen County coming up. I like the idea of how Hancock has it. The commissioners are in charge of it. They get to choose and decide on where the projects are going to be, and kind of puts a layer of protection and a little bit of a say in the hands of the commissioners. Because if not, the Fort Wayne can just start build up into it, and then we have no say over it. And then what they do with it is what they do with it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So again, it's also to help out. It would be grant driven, and development driven. I don't want to pull a lot of debt out to do these things. There's a lot of grant money out there. Adams County has one, and they got $5 million over the last couple of years, from what I understand, to help build sewer lines. We can attach onto existing sewer lines and sewer plants, the sewer districts, like the St. Joe Spencerville down there. Their biggest problem at St. Joe Spencerville is their numbers are low. They have to split the cost among 93? The 93 people at St. Joe?
300.
On the, you customers? Okay. 3 commercials, okay.
Could you come up to the microphone?
Yeah, sorry
please,
to bring it
sir?
up there.
If you could, please give us your name.
Yes, I'm Tom Reeves. I'm a board member for St. Joe's Spencerville Sewer District. I'm inquisitive when I seen it on the agenda. Startups, is there any number that you can throw out? Because we're rebuilding our plant because of neglect for the last 30 years almost. So it was expensive. We we have a lot of ticked off people because the rate is so high, but when nothing is done and no money is collected for the 25 years since '01, it had to be done, or, you know, people just didn't understand the situation. But for a startup, I know what it costs just to rebuild our plant to handle that many, plus our commercial, for a startup. And how is this going to affect the people? I have a concern because we're trying to work with SRF now for a reduction. It was brought forward by the commercials. And at this point, it wasn't for the residentials. We insisted that the residents get a reduction too. So we're trying to iron that out at this point. This has been almost 6 months we've been working on this. Our project started 2 years ago, over 2 years ago. But I'm concerned in as far as, I know you said grants and bonding and such, getting the pipes in the ground. The commissioners here were great to us. They afforded us to be able to rebuild one of our lift stations, which it needed bad. I mean, you know, and we've got that accomplished this point. I know what it costs just to repair it, but I also know with Commonwealth working with them on this, we know what it's going to cost to put a lift station in. And this county is far from level. And I'm sure you know that, but as far as a startup with nothing in the ground, is there a ballpark you can just throw?
I'm not sure I understand exactly what you're asking, what the infrastructure will cost?
Yeah, just to get the plant in the ground.
So we're not necessarily suggesting a plant at this time. So, and I've been following your sewer district projects and your issues that you're having, and the commissioners have indeed been very good to you. And unfortunately, what I mentioned about the 108 sewer districts and IDEM liking us is that your situation is not unique. A lot of regional sewer districts have been, had kicked the can down the road syndrome for a very long time. We've actually just finished a 2-year recovery of one that was in a similar situation. Thankfully, the commissioners gave us $500,000. It was absolutely needed for equipment that hadn't been updated or repaired for 20 years, and there hadn't been a rate increase, et cetera, common situation. What we're intending to do here is form an entity that has claim service areas to do what one item is what Kellen suggested, is to keep the city of Fort Wayne from providing sewer here. Now, when an actual project is considered, it will not move forward if the per EDU cost is too high, meaning it'll impact the rates too significantly. You just don't move forward with a project. However, there are opportunities to do collection system only. I hate to say it, but it could be connecting to Fort Wayne, but that collection system would be owned and operated by the DeKalb County Sewer District via an interlocal agreement. Similarly with Auburn and Garrett, and hopefully, and I'd love to talk to you, you know, there could be some potentials for administrative or operational cost sharing when it gets to that point between the St. Joe Spencerville RSD and the DeKalb County RSD that would benefit both, some sort of resource sharing.
I do not want to build a plant. My vision of this is to attach onto existing plants and use the plants that you have. So like down there at St. Joe Spencerville is to take some grant money if we can, and then run some sewer lines to a developer, or have a developer run the sewer line to you guys to increase your customer base, which would decrease the cost overall spread out. I do not want to take on a sewer plant. I do not want to have the infrastructure and all that kind of stuff.
And
I
yes,
want to use the existing ones.
the costs, absolutely, the costs are way up, but I can tell you, I don't know this, I don't have a crystal ball, but has anything gone down in price? It's only going to go up if it needs to happen years from now.
We found that out in our initial bid. It doubled on us. And what estimate was and what it actually is. I'll just tell you straight up, it cost us $8 million just to replace what we have. I mean, it's going to be nice, but we had to knock some of the, some of the stardust we had to knock off because it was just too unaffordable.
Stardust, I like that. They call it value engineering, but I like that better. Those are very valid questions, and again, we're not, we don't have the specific priority projects identified. This is to form the organization that can control what projects move forward and a mechanism to get the grants and get the bonds for the projects that are selected. And if the initial projects come out, we would do preliminary engineering estimates on those specific projects, and then we would have a ballpark, and we would understand what the gap is in the funding based on the number of homes and new developments that would be intended to be served by that, and find ways to fill that gap.
So I can understand that, but I was just concerned really in the pricing in that, and getting the stuff in the ground, and I didn't have a clue on where you were going with this actually as a commissioners. I just know the expenses. We also know what we had guesstimations as far as connecting to different, before we even built 2 different locations. And those were kind of astronomical too. They just weren't beneficial. But I do know that Leo, Cedarville, Grayville are doing what you're saying. They're piping everything into Fort Wayne. So they're just doing the collection themselves. But,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate the information, and if you want to contact us, I can give you contact information as far as our secretary who's at the plant. She's part-time. We're not full-time there. But
That would be great, yeah.
okay.
There may be something in the formation that makes sense for both sewer districts, again, to, even if it's just some resource sharing.
We have plans that within the board. We haven't just stated out or anything on what we can do to add additional clients, homes, whatever, to our system. There's some potential for that, which could help with the increase too on the rate. So rate studies cost us quite a bit of money. We're trying to avoid one right now with the SRF and everything at this reduction. But thank you.
I have a financial consultant on my staff who's much less than some other firms, so be happy to give you a quote.
Okay.
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
Well, if we pipe into an existing sewer district, who sets the rate? Who sets the tap-in fee?
So that is called an interlocal agreement, and it's negotiated between a representative of the sewer district, which is typically me, and a representative of the treatment provider. And we come up with wholesale treatment rates, typically per 1,000 gallons. There's typically some requirements placed on the sewer district who's sending a collection system in to say that their waste needs to be monitored in a similar fashion to the city or whomever. The total rate paid by the regional sewer district is a stack of all those costs. So if there's debt to pay for the collection system, the maintenance of the collection system, plus the wholesale treatment rate. The connection fees are also negotiated between the provider. It's a business negotiation. And both sides are looking to be fair, and the sewer district should be looking out for recovering funds as necessary without encumbering the residents, the ratepayers with that. But to answer your question, it's negotiated between the two entities.
What have you seen typically as far as tap-in fees and user fee, monthly fees?
So regional sewer districts are typically, if you're doing septic elimination, the rates are higher than in city, and there's a reason for that. It's because they're done, the sewer is installed after the fact, or say, so after the home is built, as opposed to a new development, the home is built with sewer, that sewer infrastructure cost is built into the cost of the house. So in city rates, maybe $50 to $70, sewer district rates, 75 plus, $85, $90 typically. If the more grants you get, the less that is, because a big piece of it is the debt for the infrastructure. And the better rate, wholesale rate you can get from Auburn or whomever, Waterloo or the St. Joe Spencerville Sewer District, all of those things go into what the rate is. A sewer district is a non-for-profit, so you just have to cover your expenses. and put a little bit away in a capital fund for when things do eventually break, you have the money to repair them, because nothing lasts forever. So a rate consultant would put together that, and we have one of those on our staff just to help us put these together, what it's going to look like. But we want the rates to be under $100.
Who would have to tap in? Say a sewer line runs down a street or a road. Who would have to tap in? Who would be exempt from tapping in?
Great question. So regional sewer districts have the right to compel connection, meaning they can force people to connect, and that is because the sewer line has to be paid for by the folks who are counted on as part of the project. However, there are exemptions. There are multiple exemptions from people being required to tap in. One is a compliant septic. So if you installed your septic within the last, it depends on the county, 10 to 20 years, you can have it inspected by a qualified inspector, and then have the health department determine whether or not that system is functioning as intended, and they can be exempt. Additionally, anybody who's more than 300 feet from the line, meaning their house is more than 300 feet from the line, they can be exempted just because of the distance and the cost required for, you pay per foot for your connection, so it's considered financially more cumbersome, and you can be exempted. You, of course, can connect if you're further back, but you can be exempted from having to do so. And then the other is the large parcel exemption, 10 acres or more, so farmers, people on big parcels, and even if your home is separated out but you own the land around, you can be exempted for large parcel exemption because your septics are not bad. They have their place. You have enough land to have a septic that is operating appropriately, and you can have a backup site. So the mandated connections is typically, and it's intended for the smaller lots with failing septics that can't replace the septic to be included on the system.
So, yeah, that was going to become my question, was that if your septic system is working, you don't have to connect in. You can get exemption for that.
Yes, if it's
Working properly and deemed
working
properly.
as determined by a certified inspector and the health department, not your own statement.
Okay. And then we're not running sewer line down every county road.
We are not running sewer line.
We're going to
down every
identify certain project areas, and then the board itself is going to determine if they're going to continue with that project.
That's right.
And then we can also, I know another question that's been asked to me is who's going to maintain these lines. We can negotiate that with, say, the city of Auburn, because it's popped in my head right here, that we could have them maintain those lines for us as part of the collection fee, correct?
Yeah. So setting up the organization, part of what we would do is determine if there is going to be a project, who's going to operate, administrate, and otherwise manage this entity, and that can be done, again, through an interlocal agreement if they're willing. I know we asked that of the city of Kokomo down in Howard County, and they didn't want to do it because the system was different than what the operators are used to. But there's contract ops, there's local, that can be solved, but that's part of the organizational setup, is determining who's going to maintain these systems.
I assume, though, that all comes after we'd signed this.
Yes, sir.
Agree to this $160,000.
Yes, sir. This is to essentially get an organization in place. It's determining the service areas, developing the petition, some community meetings, the public hearing, submission to IDEM, board training, website, initial capital stack, and initial identification of the priority project areas with that new board. The next step would be actual projects, but you would be teed up to move forward with projects if you so chose to do so.
And Hancock County doesn't do projects. They're just kind of more of an entity.
Yeah, but Hancock County is a special, every town there, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hancock County, but there's several cities that have their own utility, McCordsville, Greenfield, New Pal, and then there's also, in between, Aqua Indiana, Nine Star, and I think Citizens Energy Group is in there, and there's Gem Utility. So it's like a wild hodgepodge of sewer and water service providers all over the county, but there is a countywide sewer district that essentially solves service area disputes and hands out who's going to do what. But they don't actually have any lines, but they do meet as needed when there's questions or a new housing development's happening and one provider's on this side of the county road and this provider's on the other side of the county road, and just determining who's going to do what. DeKalb doesn't quite have that density at this time. They're just explosive growth there, so it's the oversight and coordination is kind of necessary, but the sewer board does have no infrastructure and no employees. Board.
So would you see DeKalb County having the whole county as one sewer district or divisional?
You can't do that anymore. IDEM doesn't permit it. So if you look at this map, the ones that are colored are county-wide sewer districts. You can do a county sewer district, but you can't just, you used to be able to say, we are going to cover every area that's not otherwise claimed by a city or other utility. You have to be more intentional and specific now. You have to identify every parcel that's going to be in your service areas. So we can call it a DeKalb County sewer district, but it doesn't mean that every single parcel that's not in city limits or in the St. Joe Spencerville sewer district is covered. We need to really, that's part of our scope that's proposed here, is to look through your comprehensive plan, look at all your TIF districts, review the septic issues report, look at potential developments along the south side, everywhere that could potentially be served, and get really specific and intentional, because there's also notifications required for all of these folks.
Could you just do like a sort of a plan for the southern 10% of DeKalb County, and that could be like a barrier to Allen County?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I guess I have a question about, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around the fact that you say Allen County can cross the county line, use our right-of-ways to install sewer lines. I just really, how does that work? That they can do that, if they don't own that property, they don't own the right-of-way. How can they do eminent domain?
They cannot, they have to have your permission. What I was hinting at is if there's large developments that are coming, whether it's residential or commercial, and they need the sewer service, they want the sewer service from whomever is willing to provide it. And there can and there will be push to ask the commissioners to permit that to happen. Or you can be in a position where you are holding back progress, as it might appear. But they cannot do it without your permission. But if there's money and investment coming or intended to come and they need the utility, then you've got an issue where you're not prepared. So this happened over in Whitley County with the SDI rebar facility when they built that, and it's in Whitley County, but barely, and they wanted to run to Columbia City, but the county and the city couldn't quite get it together, and so the city of Fort Wayne came in and said, we'll run lines too, which then got the project moving, going the other direction, but you want to be more prepared than that. But they absolutely can, and when an entity like Steel Dynamics says this is what we want, that carries some weight. That's not happening at this time, but it could, and this is to be prepared for that.
So the biggest question I get on this is if we create the sewer districts, no infrastructure's put in, people just have this conception that the county's going to force them to hook into it. And obviously I would be, if they have a good sewer system, I would be the last one to say, force them to say they have to be part of a sewer system that is run by the city or however it's run. I guess, and it's only me, but I wouldn't want to force anybody. However, if there's a new development coming, then yes, I would expect them, as a new development, to be part of that sewer district and have to hook into it. If it's housing, I mean, the builder can add that on to the expense of what it costs to do business. Same way with an industry. But I guess just for me is I would have a hard time telling somebody that has a good sewer system that they must hook into that. I would be opposed to that.
Absolutely, and that is a very common concern because it is an expense to property owners that many would find quite burdensome to pay for. And absolutely, new developments, on the south side, this is all about new developments, being prepared to serve new developments, and we'd be talking with home builders and maybe commercial developments about what the expenses are going to be. Now, if there is a project intended to happen, spurred by a new development, that is probably going to run by some existing homes. And as part of that process, we would have community meetings and we would look for ways of making it affordable. Sometimes if it's a big enough commercial development, we'll put some money in, and this is all situational based, we're not promising this, but to help make connecting when the project goes in as affordable as possible for people who might want to do it but can't afford to do so. We also offer connection financing, which still is an expense, but it allows people to make payments through a provider that we partner with. But I agree with you, and we've worked with thousands of homeowners on this very question, so take it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, again, if somebody built a new house and had to put in a mound system that cost, last I heard, $25,000, $30,000, I would have a hard time forcing them to be into a new sewer line.
Oh, yes, sir, that's an exemption, a new mound system, again, would be inspected just to make sure, because otherwise everybody would just say my septic system works just fine.
So, does anyone in the audience have any questions? No one? Okay. Gentlemen, any more questions or concerns? What would be your pleasure?
I'd like to table it, have more time to look at this and study it, get some citizen input. I'm not ready to make any decision on this. I wouldn't be, personally.
Would you be okay in 2 weeks if we put it on the agenda?
4 weeks.
4 weeks?
I'm fine with that. I got some more questions too that came up through conversation, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. 4 weeks. Thank you. Did you want to ask more questions?
No, just to do a little more research on the right-of-way thing that you brought up. I didn't realize that part, so that was an interesting part I want to dig into.
Andrew, did you have any questions?
I guess no questions, only to say that there's probably a number of people with older septic systems that might not be able to be approved through an expert review. Just be aware of that.
Thank you, sir. My agenda there. We have time. The Ohio, Michigan, Indiana OMI Council of Government. I sent you gentlemen the information on that. Commissioner Hartman, you had some advice for us.
Yeah, this issue came up several years ago when a gentleman in Pioneer, Ohio, wanted to tap into the aquifer, the Machindo aquifer. I think I pronounced it right. Yeah. And he went to pipe water over to the Toledo suburbs, because the Toledo suburbs were having a dispute with the Toledo water system, and he wanted to drill these massive wells and pipe the water several hundred miles to Toledo. And that was going to involve the Machindo aquifer, which also involves DeKalb County, and it goes on over into Noble County. How far, we don't know, because they ran out of money when they did the study. So, but I do know it goes to almost all DeKalb County and Steuben, bigger part of Steuben County. But anyway, Ohio wanted to set up this, what do you call it? Agreement, and with this agreement, they wanted Steuben County and DeKalb County to sign into, but it would give the Ohio counties full control over the aquifer that runs under us, because they would have the most votes on the committee. Several counties, though, they're involved. And so we would not have any, basically, control over that aquifer as far as putting any restrictions on it, any limitations on what can be drawn down in it. But now it seems the problem is, or the issue has come back up involving a fish farm, which would require a million gallons a day, which is a lot of water. Of course, the pumping of the water, I forget what that number was, but what can happen, you do these massive wells, especially in a particular spot, it pulls and we had a guy from Trine University come in, an expert on this, and give us some information and a presentation. But what it does, it draws a cone down in that aquifer, and that aquifer could be anywhere from a few feet deep to several 100 foot deep. And if they get in one of those areas and they go deep in that aquifer, it pulls a cone down, it pulls the water out of that aquifer in an area surrounding that well. And what can happen, the wells that are in that proximity can go dry. Their pumps can pull the water right away from their pumps. So anyway, we didn't sign, DeKalb didn't sign, we decided not to sign. That was two previous commissioners and myself, because we wouldn't have any control because of the vote count on that commission. That's kind of all I have at it at this time. I've got a little bit of information, written information, and but not a lot. I didn't save a lot of that, but we would need to get, I don't know, did you have a copy of that agreement that they want us to sign? I thought I saw it in there, I don't know.
I don't, if there was,
All I have is a signature page of it.
I think I sent everything that I had. I'd have to, I'll go look at our 10 o'clock break, and
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I can't, I think I sent everything that Rick from Steuben County had forwarded to me.
Does DeKalb County now have any control over what Ohio does with the aquifer?
No,
No.
we don't have any control over them, but they don't have any control over us.
Or us either, so
Yeah, in other words-
we could have a million-gallon fish farm ourselves if we wanted to.
Right.
Correct.
When we start talking about a data center coming in, if a data center was to come in, we have no ordinance to control that. We could have, we can write, and I think maybe that's something we should look at, is an ordinance over this aquifer, how much can be pulled out of it, as far as pumping. I was trying to look, see what counties were involved over in Ohio.
Wasn't there some in Michigan too, the southern part of Michigan?
Yes.
Didn't it go up to Michigan a little bit too? Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation with that company a couple of years ago, about 6, 7 years ago.
I'll have to,
Bill, do you remember what year that was? All that,
2019, I believe. 2020, maybe. Oh, there's a list. Michigan is Lenawe, L-E-N-A-W-E-E County, Branch County, Michigan, Hillsdale County, Michigan, Williams County, Ohio, Fulton County, Ohio, Defiance County, Ohio, DeKalb County, Indiana, Steuben County, Indiana.
so it doesn't affect. Michigan would be the same as Indiana. They would have lesser amount of votes than Ohio.
Well, actually, the list shows the same.
The same?
It's the same, we're the lowest one.
Mm-hmm. Could be the lowest one. Allen County's in there, but it's just a little corner of Allen County.
In Noble, we don't know how far over it went in.
We don't know how
Correct.
far.
I remember that
They
conversation.
ran out of money on a geological survey,
Mhm.
and so they stopped.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, they stopped. I suspect it could go all the way through Noble County, actually.
It could what?
Could go all the way through Noble County. We don't know that, but it possibly could. There was a lot of pushback on this. They had all kinds of campaigns against it, and, you know, there's a lot going on over in Pioneer, Ohio. Concern is Williams County, Ohio. Yeah. Some meetings over there.
At the very least, I guess I need an answer as to what the representation on that committee is.
Right. And what the wording is on that document.
Okay. That's a good discussion on that, and I will try to get an answer to that question. Yes, obviously. Same as we don't want Ohio doesn't want us telling us about our water. So they understand it.
Like I say, I think we could write our ordinance for DeKalb County only and have some control over that as far as fish farm comes in, a data center comes in, how much can actually pull out of this aquifer. But I'm not sure how the state gets involved. I'm not sure how that all works.
Mhm.
There was some conversation with the state, I believe.
What item when that would be triggered for item to
Yeah,
look at things?
How much restriction can we put on it, if any, or is that more of a state issue?
Well, and as we've already seen, where the White River wasn't enough for the data center, and they wanted to pull water out of the Wabash River, run that pipe down, and it got stopped at least.
Yeah,
That would not have been a good,
no.
at least my opinion only.
And there's an opinion that even Allen County, the data center, if we have another dry year like we had last year, they'll pull all the water out of the St. Joe, or out of the Maumee, whichever they're tapping into, that they would pull a good portion of that water. There's a huge line goes out, a 24-inch water main goes to that data center.
Then is there any water that comes back out into the rivers, or it just goes and evaporates into the air
It goes
because of the
back
heat or
in, but it's
something?
downstream, but it,
Downstream, okay,
yeah, but you have to pull it out from upstream if there's not enough there to pull out.
right.
And Fort Wayne could actually run short because of this data center pulling so much water out of it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your comments. We'll just kind of sit on that one for a bit. Besa, did you want to speak?
So I was, a committee was set up for the new time clock system going in for the county, and I was nominated to lead it. I have sent out a few emails. The goal of the committee was to make sure that moving forward with the other departments that we are going to be implementing the time clock, that implementation is done right. I've been working with Susan and her office on supporting users. So I sent out that email on Friday. Yes, and I was asked to include Commissioner Dooley and Bob, Councilman
Kraft?
Kraft.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I also invited a few people from the departments that are next going on. So I invited Tyler from Surveyor's Office, someone from Community Corrections, and Tika from the Sheriff's Department. So I'd like to have a discussion on implementing the time clock. So that's all I.
When he talked to me, I said that I could not be on the board without the approval of the other two commissioners. I said that we would discuss it today. I said that you can't just choose one commissioner. So, but we talked about that on Friday and said that we'd have a discussion today about who would be on that board, on that committee, sorry. We can go to that conversation now if you want.
I'm okay with Colin being on that committee.
I'm okay with being on it too.
And I'm okay with that.
I make a motion, Colin be on the
I'll second that.
timekeeping
Oh,
committee.
I'm sorry. I'll second that motion.
Okay.
We have a motion on the floor to allow Kellen to be on the timekeeping committee as presented. Is there any other discussion? Anyone from the public? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Days will have to be the same for the council. They'll have to appoint their representative on that board too, which they meet next week. So.
Okay.
But any communication, you can send me emails next week.
Okay. We just need to get the committee going as soon as possible because Susan, when is the current time clock expire?
Those that are on it now may need to start and then add Bob in after next week when they appoint it. Because the next set has Central, Sheriff, and Community Corrections. And Central and Community Corrections, those two have the Right Stuff contract that's going away. Those three departments all want to go live. They're ready to go, and the sheriff's been waiting for over 1.5 years until we could get this started, so he's more than ready to roll.
All right, I'll send another email. Thank you.
Well, thank you. On the agenda is the Loyal Canine Contract Agreement and the Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control Contract Agreement. I sent you gentlemen and Andrew. Did I include you, Susan? Okay. I was hoping I did.
You're good.
We will table those at this time because they're just in the, I just wanted you gentlemen and Susan to have those contracts so you knew what we were looking at. Andrew has already sent an email back saying that he has some language that he would like to include in those. When he gets that written, he will send it to me and I will include that. Yeah, neither one of those are ready for our approval yet. But I just wanted everybody to know where we're at on that.
I have a question, not concerning those, but Erica had sent the email of that big situation that they took care of not too long ago, and Animal Care and Control had taken the 2 dogs for it. So I do have an invoice from Animal Care and Control concerning that situation. Am I allowed to pay it? Or do I have to wait for that contract? Is that contract going to be separate than the current situation that just occurred?
Well, yeah, so, part of that comes to what the State Board of Accounts requires. I mean, the county has used the services of this company, and so they owe whatever would be owed for that. I think that from the standpoint of do we wait to pay it until a contract is prepared depends on what the State Board of Account rules are.
Well,
Owe the money. It's
right,
when it gets
depending
paid.
on the contract and the logistics of it, that kind of is like, in this situation, I feel that that is a little different. because our current animal officer had this situation and she explained,
It was an emergency situation for one thing.
yeah, so the state board is not going to have an issue if we pay this before that's signed because of the situation of how it occurred. I just wasn't sure what the commissioners wanted me to do on it.
I guess I would suggest, since it was an emergency situation, and the State Board of Accounts is not going to have an objection, that you vote on it, approving this particular expense, and then we get a contract going.
Make a motion to pay that expense.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay this.
So it's a
This stiff bill.
animal care and control invoice for the emergency situation that our animal control officer took care of, and it is for the amount of $155.
We have a motion and second on the floor to pay this bill as presented. Any other discussion? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Sorry. I made the motion, he
We
seconded
have
it.
signed, thank you.
Oh,
I have a request
yes.
that maybe Jace is not going to be in.
Oh, yes, did you get his email?
He's not coming. Can we bring Johnny and Michelle in early? If they're available.
Oh, Joni?
Joni or
Um,
Joni and
Joni, I'm sure I can. I will work on that as you guys go to break.
okay,
Is that good?
thank you.
So that, just for the record, that motion passed 3-0.
Thank you.
As it, pardon me?
Ready for break?
Yep. As it's Excuse me, we'll call this meeting back to order. We have Kimberly Teagarden with DART.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. I sent you guys the agenda. It's a little bit longer than normal. I included a little bit of annual information too, since we just finished 2025. Last time I was in here, I let you guys know, could have been 2 times ago, I'm not sure. But I let you know we had 3 vans that were recalled. They were put out of service. We were finally able to get them back on the road. They went in, got service the 3rd week of December, and were put right back on the road. So we finally got them back, and they were down from July until December. So that was pretty good for us. DART currently has 14 drivers at the end of 25, 2 full-time, 12 part-time. The 2 new drivers we brought on in Q3, they're working out great, and they've become a pretty big asset for us. Their heart's in it. They're just pretty great people. The grant I applied to through United Way, that's for the fleet van decals that I'm trying to get put on to add the color and also like bring our collaboration together. That got approved through United Way for the $5,000, and I'm hoping by the end of this first quarter I can have them all decaled and looking a lot nicer. I'm just kind of struggling with getting them in a shop and someone that'll want to do all that work for them, because I'll be sending them 12 vehicles to update. We did end the year with no major accidents. Drivers did an awesome job. I only had 1 reportable accident where our driver, he backed into a parked car at the end of a driveway. I did have 2 non-reportable accidents. They also took place. Driver scraped the top of the HIMAX center canopy, and then another one backed into a DART van in our actual garage. So we were able to meet all the random drug and alcohol pulls for the year through our drug and alcohol program with our 5311. All results did come back negative. In total, we sent 13 employees for the drug and 7 for alcohol. And then I was also able to secure a grant with the help of Aaron Potter over at Alliance Industries. This is for our Alliance riders. We were able to secure $10,000 through AWS, and that's going to help our Alliance riders. It's going to take their rates for 2026, and I'm able to give them 50% off all their transportation through this grant. Oh, I also gave you guys some data on the DART hardship assistance program. I rolled that out in April on the 1st. We were able to help with a total of 111 trips for this. You'll see, the way we were funding this, I was able to get anonymous donors, the Foundation of DeKalb County Youth Voices of Philanthropy, and also the Afternoon Lions Club. They helped support this program that I kicked off. We did 2 social service trips. We had 38 medical trips, 52 trips for work, and then 19 trips for well-being. And out of this amount, we spent $746 from the money I pulled in for this program, and we're still sitting at $3,254 to use. So it's sitting pretty good. I expected a little bit more usage out of this, but just kind of seeing where it goes. It is new and trying to get the information out to people. And let's see. Oh, the quarterly invoice for NDOT to sign. Or for you guys to sign for NDOT. Susan, did you print that off for me?
Yep.
Thank you.
I have the blue pen waiting, because you have to sign in blue.
Okay. And you'll see the passenger trips if you looked over our numbers. Something, I was just watching it as we were going in through the year. You'll see that we did have a decrease of rides due to the loss of our non-emergency medical transportation riders. That's through a partnership we had with Verida. We still have it. We just lost people that were over 60 with it. We did work diligently to close this gap by picking up a new NEMT provider that is WellTrans. We partnered with them by the end of 3rd quarter. after you go through like all their paperwork, getting your driver set up, there's just a lot of compliance when you go with an EMT provider. We also brought on school trips from a local private school. And then our trips also took a hit with the loss of their 3 vans. When those went down, it was hard trying to figure out how to get certain clients on certain vans, and unfortunately, it just resulted in trip denials because we couldn't always meet the client needs with what we had available. The loss to ride gaps, however, did end in September when we started passing previous year rides. So hopefully 2026, you'll see us above those numbers. So it was noticed and hopefully rectified going forward, and we won't have issues. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my agenda. You guys got questions for me?
We need to vote on that.
We need to vote on this.
I'll make a motion to accept the quarter invoice for DART, quarter 4 invoice for DART,
And for the president to sign.
and the president to sign.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the rural transit quarterly report as presented. Is there any other questions or discussion? Anyone from the public? Hearing none, no one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Thank you very much.
Yep, and I also did want to know, just like a thank you to one of your county drivers. I don't know his name, but on January 27th, we had a van that ended up getting stuck in a drift out on County Road 41. We had a tow truck on the way. He was out there for a little bit, and a county driver came through, and he was able to help plow him out. So thank you to whoever that was.
Oh, kudos.
Thank you, guys.
And for the record, I did inspection of DART, if you want to call it that, in December. Very impressed with the staff and the maintenance and everything that is going on with DART. It's very well-run organization. My pleasure. Jason's not coming?
No, he sent you all an email this morning.
Oh, I didn't get it. Or I didn't see it yet. Okay, we can move down to,
Tony's here.
pardon me?
Tony's here if you want to bump her.
Oh, that works for me.
Yep, Joni is here and Michelle is on her way.
Okay, great. Come forward, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was coming in to talk about innkeeper's tax. As you know, in 2025, we had to take Baymont to court. They're behind again. So we have not gotten a report since, we got their September report in October. Since then, he has not paid. So he has now hit that 60-day. Our ordinance says that after 60 days, I have to come to you guys to get your blessing to have Andrew pursue collections. He did try to pay October in December. It would have been due by November 20th. He paid December 18th, but I sent it back to him because he paid via check. And we've had issues with him. In November, he wrote a bad check for $10,000. So at that point, I told him we would no longer take business checks, personal checks, that he would, or online payments or credit card payments, that he would have to pay via certified funds. So I did send the one report back to him with a letter explaining, and he got my email and he acknowledged it, but he has not made any attempt to resubmit payment. So I guess I'm just looking for your blessing to have Andrew pursue collections.
I'll second the give it.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to allow Andrew to move forward with this claim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I should have asked, did anyone have a comment or discussion?
Same old, more.
Yeah, he's got a lot of penalty. He's got a lot of penalty out there because the ones he is sending in, he's sending them in considerably late. So he's got over $2,400 just in penalties outside of the delinquent tax. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and I want to schedule a time to sit down with you to go through it. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry we're in this position. And Michelle is on her way, is that understood? Okay. We can move down to, did you gentlemen have a chance to look at the minutes?
I did too. I'd like to make a amendment to the minutes
Okay,
on the matter of highway or HWC amendment number 1, the $3,500. I'd like to add in there that council did have a member on that committee. This was part of the reason I didn't think we need to spend $3,500. I think that needs to be added in.
Do you have a certain spot you want me to add it in, or just
Or in that paragraph.
make a note, like,
Just a note.
no, please note, commission, or council had a member on
Right,
that?
that would work.
Is that the only amendment you had? Make the motion with, to accept minutes with the amendment?
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as presented with the added amendment. Is there any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Michelle, if you're ready when you get your coat off. Thank you very much for coming early. Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, so I am here today because we have identified an opportunity to get an additional grant for Change Academy. This opportunity was unfortunately a really quick turnaround. The Criminal Justice Institute posted it mid-January, and it's due mid-February. So it was 1 month to try to figure out if we thought we could do it. In the email, I sent the grant application, the questions that they wanted us to answer, and the basic idea of what we would like to do. This is a juvenile behavioral health grant. So the idea is to focus obviously on mental health for juveniles. And what we're looking to do is partner with Northeastern Center to have a therapist, running upstairs, to have a therapist come over for a couple hours a school day to the Change Academy directly, meet with any initial new intakes that we have to kind of assess what they might need. What we're finding is when we're getting referred students from the school districts to the Change Academy, a lot of times they haven't had a lot of contact with anybody yet, and so there are some underlying issues that haven't been addressed. And for us, as we're trying to work with them through educational work and some of the other interventions we do at Change, they kind of are being taken as disciplinary issues. And what we'd like to do is focus more on what we can do to help get them stabilized, able to do their work educationally at Change Academy, and treat mental health issues as mental health issues instead of having them go down the lane of a disciplinary issue, only to figure out at a disciplinary hearing that we believe it's a mental health issue. So the, I don't want to call it a contract, but I guess if we need to term it that, we obviously can. The idea, though, is that's going to allow us to have somebody come over do early intervention. So let's have this kid talk to somebody, see what services we may need to provide them to help get them stabilized and help them be successful at Change Academy, and then refer them out for services. So, and that could be at any of the service providers. We're not trying to funnel the juveniles anywhere in particular. So once they're met with, they could go to Bowen, they could go to Parkview, they could go wherever their parent guardian decides. The second part that we would have this person do is what we'd think of as like crisis management. So if we have a student coming in that's having a really hard time, something happened at home, something's going on in their life, and sometimes that manifests itself at Change as impulsivity, crying, seeming depressed, wanting to sleep all day instead of work on schoolwork, things like that. This person would also be qualified to take them into a separate private area and kind of say, hey, what's going on? Why don't you tell me about it? And the thought process being they might be more willing to open up to that person, seeing them as like a neutral, non-affiliated, non-Change Academy employee. So I'd be maybe possibly more willing to open up to that person than I would to somebody that I think could write me up or, go talk to other employees about it or whatever the case might be. And then, excuse me, if they identified something in those meetings that they thought needed to be talked about more in depth, they could refer that information back to whatever services they're receiving at an outside treatment provider. So, sorry guys. So let's say we're talking to a juvenile in crisis, you realize there was something going on that maybe hadn't been talked about before, and maybe that person already attends Bowen Center or already goes to Parkview. That information under the data sharing agreement could then be shared with their full-time therapist to talk about at their next session. So it's been a quick turnaround talking with Northeastern Center and seeing, I did also approach Bowen, but they weren't sure they were going to be able to provide us with what we were asking for. So it's been a quick turnaround talking to them and then asking them for their opportunity lost of that staff person, what did they think compensation-wise that they would need, and that's how we came up with the budget.
Gentlemen, do you have questions? Comments?
Good.
Andrew?
Yes, I was fine with the agreement. I thought it looked fine. I just didn't know if the commissioners should sign it because it's a contract. But I know over the years it's been kind of fluid as to whether commissioners sign things or the director sign things and that sort of thing. So
I had responded to that this morning.
okay,
And
I hadn't seen that.
either you guys sign it, and like I put on here Commissioner President so that you can sign. Sometimes if it's like a online, like not an actual physical signature, then you guys tend to motion to approve whoever to sign XYZ, and then we have it in the minutes that you guys have approved it, but they are needing to do the electronic part of it.
Okay, sounds good, Susan. Yep, so I approve.
So is there a way that we can do instead that I have the ability to send it to Northeastern, because I think they probably want to review with that particular document first. That I kind of created, and then Mr. Cruz reviewed it for me, but they haven't had a chance to review it as far as their wording that they might need and things like that. Can I have them review and then send it back?
That's up to you. Either that, or they can approve what we're submitting with their signature. If NEC doesn't agree, then they can always submit something back with a change before they actually sign it themselves to execute.
Okay. Either way, as long as everyone's aware that I might have to come back with some changes to that because it hasn't been reviewed by Northeastern yet.
So that's up to you guys.
I would suggest maybe approving it now to expedite it since you've got limited time.
Okay.
Would you sign it?
Is that a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to authorize the president to sign the Change Academy data sharing agreement as presented. Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Does this have to be in blue ink too? No?
Just highway,
No, DART.
just DART.
Yeah, just the DART one.
Did she get this?
Yep, she can have it, and then, she will scan it and send it. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. All right with you gentlemen, can we ask Dottie to come? Our next one isn't until 11:15 with Kyle.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
You want to do that county minivan discussion, county minivan discussion
Yeah, we can do that.
on the list?
Yep.
What was the thoughts on that?
Well,
Using that van for county employees transport to,
Yes, I'll take the lead on that. I just thought it was an idea that I ran across to Larry to make sure, number one, that it would be fit to travel, because I didn't know year or mileage or anything else on it. Obviously, the county already owns it. It's a 2017, if I remember right, Dodge Caravan. It has 4 seats, and it has about 50,000 miles. So he thought it was in good enough road condition, and since we already own it, if we can save the county money by having, and I think it needs to be very specific that it's elected officials and/or department heads, only that they can use it for travel, insurance-wise. And we can ask Kyle if that's going to be an issue as far as county insurance, make sure. But just it was my thought that we have the vehicle, it's just sitting there. And if, the only other question I would have is who is going to be responsible for the key that people need to go see a certain person? I guess, and I hate to throw it on Larry, but I just think that might be the easiest. But they're certainly open for discussion.
My 2 questions I have is how far are we wanting them, like to Indianapolis, or sometimes you go down to southern Indiana for some conferences. Are we going to go that far with it? Or are we going to stick to like Fort Wayne and the surrounding areas? Just a question. And the other one is, if you said to stick it to department heads and or elected officials as drivers, are they allowed to drive other employees down? I just want to clarify that, so.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's what he meant, but I wanted to clarify that the elected official will be the one driving it, but they could take their staff down.
Yes, if their staff is going to, up to 4, obviously, people in that van, because it does not have the back seat. That, in my opinion, yes, if they had their employees going, that'd be the real savings is.
obviously,
Yeah.
rather than pay them mileage.
Your first question, I'm sorry.
How far are you okay with them driving? I mean,
I guess
Indianapolis?
within the state of Indiana, because if they have to go to French Lick, or I don't remember, there was one clear down by Cincinnati, but was still in Indiana. I mean, at 50,000, I would think it should travel without an issue.
It's got a lot of miles left. Should have.
I agree. When we make up the ordinance or whatever we do for this policy, we're gonna make sure we have it written down like that. I'm fine with it, letting them have the option to use it, but clarify.
Will it be left as an option or a requirement?
That's a good question. If we're going to do it, it's a requirement first, actually. And then if it's not available, then some, take their own vehicles and get the mileage, but I'm not sure. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but.
I'm more of an optional. I'm more of, if you want to do it that way,
I might concede my point.
Would people feel uncomfortable driving a different vehicle?
Yeah.
Used to would be.
Some people are.
Mhm.
I'd make it
From a liability standpoint.
Make it optional for people. If they want to use it, they can.
I could go with that. I could go with that.
Okay. You have a consensus then that it would be optional. Myself, I would really hope that if somebody was taking and had employees that really look at it, because that would be savings to the county, having 4 people go. But I can understand if they're not comfortable driving it, that's, could be another issue.
Write up a policy. We'll need to have a
I don't-
policy.
I would hope so.
Able to do.
Yeah, I can write up a policy.
You have,
We need a motion to direct him to make.
I'll make a motion for Andrew, allowing department heads and/or elected officials to use the
20,
county van.
Van?
Call it the
Well-
county van, I guess. Yeah, call it the county van.
well, we don't want them using the one we just gave to the sheriff's department.
What color is the van?
I have no idea.
I
I
think,
think they're both white, though.
I think they were both white.
Okay.
We'll get the VIN number and stuff so that we have the exact
Yep.
motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to create a policy using the county minivan. Is that correct?
Mhm. Optional.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. We have the 2025 Annual Public Defender Report Acknowledgement.
Report.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Annual Public Defender Report Acknowledgement as presented. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. And we have the 2025 Annual Coroner's Report Acknowledgement.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge coroner's report.
We have a motion and a second to accept the 2025 Annual Coroner's Report Acknowledgement as presented. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We have the Pokey Botch Visionary Trail Planning Project that is not going to cost the county any money. It's just our blessing that they can apply for, I'm looking for the amount, since we just got this morning.
It's $6,033,300.
Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm still looking.
You're
I
good.
know I saw it someplace.
Right, I have,
Oh,
they highlighted it for us.
oh. Okay. Your pleasure, gentlemen.
And this is a letter of support, which was the last page. The second page was a copy of the one that you did in 2025 for that grant submission.
Again, it's just a,
Letter of support. I'll make a motion.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to accept to allow the Pokebok Trail to, our letter of,
Support,
huh?
to submit the letter of support.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments or suggestions?
Yeah, why are we spending $6,033 and, no, what is it? Yeah,
No, 6 million.
6 million.
Correct.
That's what they're asking for in the grant.
That's what they're asking.
We're not spending
Grant.
that.
It's
Again,
in the grant.
That's the grant money, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have this a little sooner. We can read it over.
I received it late last evening.
Yeah. It's on now.
I'm just,
They want to do this stuff, they need to get it to us. In a timely manner.
we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried 2-1. I believe that covers everything in our discussion, right? Or
please and thank you.
okay. Dottie and Morgan have graciously allowed to come early. We have Kyle coming at 11:45, or I'm sorry, 11:15. I'm sorry, 11:15. We will maybe have to suspend,
All right.
if that's okay.
That is absolutely okay. We're happy to be flexible. So, well, first, let me go ahead and let's talk about the big thing. The reason that we really wanted to come in originally was the Health Insurance Committee discussion. There has been some talk that it might behoove us to create a committee to discuss the insurance offerings and maybe to listen to the broker when they have the all of those numbers that come in, and that it could speed up the process so that the committee then would bring it to the full commissioners to make the final decision. And maybe it would make us a little more efficient so that we can get things talked about outside of, a meeting, make you guys more efficient with the time that you guys meet. So Apex and the HR network, cities and counties throughout the state, gave me a bunch of suggestions, and I passed those along to you of who is on some of their committees. But usually there's a representative from Human Resources, a commissioner, a council member, some representative from the auditor's office, and sometimes, an elected official, department head, to try to get, you've got the financial side, and then you also have what would employees like to have? And perhaps you have, an elected official or a department head on there for that reason. So anyway, it's obviously up to you, but that's kind of what typically Apex sees. And if you guys do go along with the idea, then you guys could start making some invitations to the committee, and I know Lauren, Apex, would be happy to get rolling on it very quickly.
I've thought a bit about this, and I have a suggestion. And that would be one commissioner, one council person, one citizen resident taxpayer, HR, and one employee. County employee, I should say.
Wait, say that again. I can't type that fast.
Okay. Commissioner, one councilman, one citizen resident taxpayer, HR, and a county employee.
Okay, got it.
I was thinking about it last couple of days, and I like the idea of having a joint commissioner and council meeting every quarter to go over all the numbers, see where we're trending to. The commissioners and the council are the biggest decision makers in this. The council has to fund it, the commissioners have to decide on it. I like the idea of meeting 4 times a year, have whoever our broker is come in and explain how we're trending, how things are looking, and then other people can come to those meetings that if we want to add on other individuals to that meeting, like the auditor, a representative or something else. But I like the idea of having a joint commissioner and council, because the council ultimately has to decide if they're going to pay for it, and the commissioners ultimately have to decide what it is. Sorry, I'm talking quick.
No, full bodies or?
Full
one
bodies,
commissioner, one-
full bodies.
Wait.
So, trying to write too. Just so I understand, Commissioner Kelly, you're saying quarterly, this committee would report to the commissioners and the council?
And I share, and on the same meeting, have a meeting that the commissioners and the council are at, and then they come in quarterly and explain what's going on. And then on the 4th one, it's in the option that Nadia said.
Yes, yeah.
On number 7, and it says on the 4th meeting, then we can decide as a group, we can decide what we want to do with it.
They wouldn't have to report because it's all commissioners and all council.
So no committee.
No committee, it just would be
Right.
like a joint commission or whatever you want to call it. And then that way, they come in and then all of us can decide on it and have conversations.
But the commissioners would be at the commissioner meeting and the council at the council meeting?
Nope,
No,
Do them together.
together.
All
We'd all would be in this room together. An Apex
Special
would-
meeting.
A special, yeah, 4 times a year, to know how things are trending, how things are looking, have the council be involved, have the commissioners be involved. We can all have that open discussion about our county employees that we are providing the health insurance to.
and health insurance, Lauren would be the presenter?
Yes. Or the broker, I don't want to say Lauren, but the broker, whoever our broker would be would come in
Yeah.
every quarter, do that commission, and explain how things are looking for that last quarter and how things are trending. So that way, all the council people are knowing what's going on, and all the commissioners know what's going on. And then you have a representative of the auditor or somebody else there too. I mean, it can't be just that, but I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between the commissioners and the council, because the council is the one that funds it, we're the one making the decisions. I think it needs to be, all that needs to be together, and having one person from each, still lines of miscommunication can happen. I think if everybody's here, we're all elected officials, we're all there, we can help make the decision, ask questions, and understand the process.
The only thing I don't like about there is no citizen representative in that scenario. And I think we should have a citizen involved. They pay the bills.
So name a specific citizen, not just who are they coming. Okay.
An unbiased opinion.
I mean, we can add more too. I just want to have the council and the commissioners. If we want to add a few more people to be there, that's fine too.
So with this discussion, we probably need a motion. Or do we, well, yeah, just a second. Andrew, I'm going to refer to you. Should we make, I mean, the council would have to agree to this also.
Right, I mean, I think
So
But I
if we,
think they're suggesting not a committee. Is,
I don't know how we want to do it. I just
well,
think,
and that's, my question is, if we make a motion and pass that we would like to have a joint meeting with the council, commissioners, an independent citizen, and HR as part of that meeting, if we do that, we're making a legislative decision, but we're doing it without the council.
right,
Because, I mean, I understand.
you want the whole entire
That's,
That's my suggestion, that's what I would like.
that's Commissioner.
That's my
Kelly.
proposal, if you guys disagree, agree with it.
Yeah, it'd have to be
Oh,
a
yeah.
special meeting.
There are going to be members of the public present and
That would probably fill that gap.
Comment on it, yeah.
Yes.
That's okay.
I don't know of any
Okay.
reason why you can't have.
Well, that's,
I'd have to agree.
that's the dilemma I'm trying to figure out here is, we can say one thing and they can say something else.
I think you would make a motion and then you.
Is that acceptable, gentlemen?
Yeah,
Mike,
Yes?
yes.
my question might
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
affect. So have you thought about what the time frame might be right now, since the decision, like right now, the decision, if we go quarterly, so say the end of March meeting is basically going to have to be the decision, because we have to have that decision before the end of the second quarter for the renewal.
Was it May 1st? For the renewal?
Well,
Well, we
Well-
do in July,
Hey, we need that.
But we need to have
but
it
we
decided
start
sooner before.
everything in June, so we need a decision.
we start the open enrollments in June so that it's
Yeah.
ready.
Well, the first meeting, it wouldn't have to be exactly a quarterly meeting. And then go to quarterly the next,
Yeah, it's a special meeting, so you can have it
yeah.
Yeah,
anytime.
I mean, we could have a couple before this new one, and then from then on, do it quarterly.
Yeah.
So, I
I
mean,
just
you
wanted
bring
to
up a good point, yeah,
throw
that
that
we
out
need to
there.
make sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, something like that, something to,
Because we can, I mean, myself, or since you're going to the council meeting, you can ask them at the council meeting next week if they would be interested in something like that. And then we can start setting up meetings, and then after the renewal, we can go quarterly after that going forward. So I'm not sure what the wording of the motion should be.
Yeah, because the sooner the better. You know, when we talk our pre-renewal strategy meetings, you know, what is it that we would like to see the following year's plan look like? And then, you know, that Samaritan Fund will be something else that we'll want to throw into the mix.
So can they not actually do a motion, but just,
Consensus, and then go talk to.
and then I will add it to my council agenda so that we can discuss it there and come up with a time frame if they're willing?
We do a consensus on it? Yeah, I'm okay with consensus, and then figure out what they feel like. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay, I'm putting it on right now.
do we want to give them a date or let them decide? Somebody's going to have to decide on a date.
Right.
Or I can reach out to their chairman.
Reach out to their chairman and see what,
Okay. You okay with that?
After the
no,
meeting.
after their next meeting, we can talk to them, yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd
Get a
have to
date.
be after the next council meeting.
And then, Bill, do you want to bring that up to them at the meeting since you're going to go there for the Sunny Meadows thing? Okay,
I'm putting it on the agenda so that we don't skip it.
okay.
I'm on council agenda. We don't skip it.
going to have the Sunny Meadows Committee appointment by the council also. I want to
I
bring that.
already have that on there.
So,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Next, I'll let Morgan talk about the OSHA 300 log.
I sent everybody the log on Friday for your review and approval. Really, all I need to do is have Jim sign it, but did you guys have any questions or anything about the log?
No, but I have a comment.
Okay.
And I think I sent it to Dottie. And, well, I might have sent it to both of you.
Oh, I didn't see it, I'm sorry.
Okay. Maybe I think I did. It was very frustrating. I got to.
Oh, are you talking about the anti-harassment training?
Yeah.
Okay, that's different than the
Okay,
OSHA
all
log.
right. My apologies.
And I apologize for the frustration. That does happen to some people sometimes. I'm not sure why, but I have let them know about it.
Yeah, well, I got an email from somebody there,
Yeah,
and so I'll try to work through it, but
okay.
it just froze.
Yeah, and we're a little off topic, but for the training, you really want to do it in Google Chrome. It seems to work the best. So if you use Microsoft, sometimes that happens. I'm not a tech person, but so I think they said you have to clear the cookies, whatever those are. So that's just kind of what they recommend.
I'll see. I don't remember which one I was in, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll try that.
But does anybody have any questions about the OSHA log? Okay. Well, then I will pass this down for you to sign, and it will be posted in all of our county buildings today. Yeah, just the president. Yes, it's just for the month of February, so it probably would not have worked. If it's just for the whole month of February, you have until the 28th. It should only take about 20 minutes. So. Yep. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, no.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the log of work-related injuries and illness as presented. Is there any other questions or discussion? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0.
Yes, this is an annual event that we have to do, and it must be posted the months of February and March. So,
This report?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes, yep. It's kind of a time crunch thing, so we needed to do that today. Not so much of a time crunch is the Veterans Services Officers Director position. I have sent you the previous posting. I believe I also sent you the job description. And then also a bunch of information from the state. And we need to remember that this person must be a veteran, and our current officer will be leaving us in July, so that does give us some time. And hopefully, you guys have had a chance to take a look if there's anything extra that we should add to the recruiting posting. If there's something that maybe the current director is doing, the officer is doing, that we should make sure up front that, any applicants know ahead of time. Of course, in that posting, it does say that you would have to, you have to be a veteran. They have to provide their DD 214 to prove that. So I just want to keep it in front of you. I don't want this to die because it's a very important position that we need to fill and need to move. And this is your responsibility because this person you supervise. So I will guide as much as possible and posting and do all of that, but I need your feedback so that I can do what I need to do.
We can do that.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Yes, okay, good.
It, as I had initially looked at what you sent, Dottie, I thought I saw there was also an exception for someone that was not a veteran, but their family was? You didn't see that? Okay, maybe I was misreading that, so. I think having a veteran would be super important. Yes. Doing it, 'cause they understand the situation.
It is a requirement, yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's a requirement.
Right.
For this, yeah, for the department head's position. Yep.
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 Sure. Gentlemen, are there
Really?
any other comments
Really?
or questions on that part?
I don't think so.
Okay. No, I've been waiting for you guys to give me any feedback. So I will, if you have feedback now, like it's 2 thumbs up, go ahead and get started now, we certainly can. And what we would do is we would have all resumes come to Human Resources. We would sort through them to make sure that they meet the qualifications and then pass them on to you.
And that would include the assistant that's there presently.
Whomever would apply for the position.
Yep.
I'm okay with her going ahead and posting it, start that process, if you guys
Yeah.
agree with it.
I believe you have consensus to go ahead and post as
Great.
you wish.
Yes, can do.
How long are you gonna have it up for posted? 30 days?
It can, no, usually,
Okay, that's the standard, eh?
yeah.
It really depends on how many people apply. So we could initially do it for 30 days if you would like, and then just kind of review the applicants that we have and then make a decision after 30 days.
I'm okay with that. You guys agree with that?
The longer you have a posting out, individuals may find a job in the interim, if we don't act on it. So that's why as we get the resumes, we will pass them on to you. So that we don't lose anybody, yeah. If we can keep going, because Kyle's here. So, I sent to you the animals in the workplace policy that I think needs to be an addition to our employee handbook and to the policies that we have here in the county. Discussion, comments, whatever, on that draft?
Gentlemen?
I thought it was appropriate and well done. I don't know that there's anything I would add or deduct from it. Yeah.
Andrew, you looked it over?
I don't remember seeing it. I'm not saying I haven't. Oh, wait. See something here. Oh, okay.
Last
Yeah, for some
Tuesday.
reason I missed reviewing it.
Okay, all right. We can wait for your input.
I had no problem with it, my
Absolutely.
input. I just want to make sure Andrew looked at it.
Right,
Because the last sentence you had, it was have Andrew look at it, so I didn't know if you had a chance.
Maybe I meant, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. If you give me a minute here, I'll take a look at it.
Oh, my gosh, you can wait. We can
whatever
wait
you guys wanna
another
do.
couple of weeks,
And this is, you're adding to our handbook, correct?
It would be an addition to our handbook.
Okay.
Yes, it certainly would. In addition to the visitors, children in the workplace policies that we currently have.
I mean, I think the key thing is having an exception for any legally required service animals or for the ADA. I mean, I think those are the 2 hot button issues that I'd be looking at.
So the last paragraph covers that. Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it based on that.
She also asked, where would be the best location for it?
You can get back to me about where you think we ought to stick it in the handbook. But
Could you shoot me a copy of the?
sure, I will send it back,
yeah.
along with what my
Yeah,
thoughts.
along with what your thought is, and if I agree, I'll shoot it back.
Okay, yeah, will do.
Okay.
So, and then what we would do after you guys approve it is we would do our usual amendment, confirmation with all of our employees, asking them to stick this in the appropriate place in the handbook.
Motion?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the addition to the handbook as presented. Is there any discussion or questions? Anyone in the audience? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, 3-0. Anything else?
Not really, no.
Okay.
So I guess, unless you guys have something for us.
No? Thank you very much for coming early.
Absolutely.
I greatly appreciate it. Mr. Pearson.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for having me as always. Here to talk about a couple of different items, but I believe the main one that prompted coming in communication with Andrew was for Sunny Meadows and potential coverage is needed, answer questions you guys have to make a wise choice and kind of get a plan for the future. That renewal comes up May 10th, so we have a little bit of time here to talk through it, answer any questions you have, but wanted to go through that piece of it specifically, I think, based off of Andrew's email, but once again, if you guys have other questions or thoughts, jump in, was for Sunny Meadows specifically on the medical professional and then the abuse molestation coverages that we currently have in force for them. Sunny Meadows is no longer operational at the moment, as we know. These policies, liability policies, can be written on two separate types of forms. Your basic general liability forms are written occurrence-based, which simply means that if a claim happens during the policy period, that there's, the coverage would respond. Most niche liability policies like this medical professional and abuse molestation are written on what's called a claims-made coverage form, which simply means that if a claim is made, when a claim is made, that coverage needs to be in place for the coverage to respond, is how that works. That's the difference, occurrence versus claims made.
How much is that coverage? I mean, how much does it cover as far as any liability claim against it? Is it
The limit or the premium?
the limit,
Yeah, the limit's $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah. So we've got, roughly 4 months before those policies would expire. And I think the question for commissioners or whoever would be, there is still some exposure for any past situations from the medical liability or likely more so the abuse molestation side. Do we want to continue that coverage moving forward for the next year to make sure that if a claim arises that we have coverage to respond for it?
Frankly, or up to potentially 2 years after the last person left would be the most protection there.
Yeah, generally.
What would you recommend?
Well, generally statute of limitations is 2 years.
2 years.
The abuse molestation, maybe I defer it to you a little bit on that piece of it. I think our medical professional coverage for Sunny Meadows always stemmed from the distribution of medication. That was always the trigger that made the carriers uncomfortable if they just had a normal general liability policy.
So the liability stemming from that, the longer you go from the last person being there, the chances that someone will make a claim that somehow their medication was distributed incorrectly is, I think, a lot lower than that someone might claim some sort of attack on their person or something. I think that the medication plan we had, I thought was adequate because there was a company that was providing
Yeah, from what I understood,
prepackaged
prepackaged,
medication.
yeah.
So the chances of a mess up there of handing out prepackaged medication with the name on it is pretty slim. And we would know about hospitalizations coming from some event.
You would have
by
4 more
now.
months of them to have an option to a claim, so I don't know if we would
I mean,
necessarily need
that's
that.
lower, but I think that on the other, my recommendation has to be to have some insurance in place in case someone gets upset. I mean, it could be an actual event of molestation, which we, hope that did not happen, but if there was an event.
Is there 2 different policies that we'd have?
2 different policies, yeah, they're separate.
And how much is the premium for the medication problem?
For the medical liability, it's 24,000.
Okay.
For the abuse molestation, it's just under 9,000
For 1 year?
for 1 year, correct?
I don't think we would need the medical. I mean, the last person was left on the 2nd. We have coverage until May, so that's 4 months. And if there was a medication error, we would know about it by now.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to look at it. Your current policy is almost offering a 4-month tail
Yeah.
on the medication side of it. I would agree that I think of the 2 exposures, it's likely the less. I can't say that it's 0, obviously, but I think that it's
Right, I
less
can't either,
likely.
but yeah.
But the abuse molestation, I think if there's something to recommend, that would be a really strong recommendation, that anything could pop up moving forward, and we would want coverage in force to respond to that.
I would say not do the medical, but do 2 years worth of the other one.
I agree to that.
I can agree with that. That makes sense to me to do 2 years of that. That'll give us plenty of coverage there, and it's actually less than the.
Do we get a discount if we do 2 years versus 1 year?
No, that's year by year. That's
Okay.
how that would be, yeah.
And no, since they knew it was shut down, that they would be willing to do 2 years.
Yeah.
I figured there might, that's a great question, but I figured there probably wouldn't be. That's not how they work.
Yeah.
And it's the only option is to get the, sort of the tail extended coverage from the company that offered us coverage to begin with. Other companies are not gonna wanna step in and try to cover this.
That's correct, yeah.
This is our only game in town.
Well, no, that's fine. I just didn't know if they'd be willing to give a 2 year tail, knowing that we're gonna keep it out for 2 years versus just doing 1 year at a time.
Good question.
Good question.
Answer's still no.
Yes.
Does that kind of, just in a broad sense, make sense how that works and why we would want to look at purchasing that moving forward?
So do we need a motion,
Need an
probably?
official motion on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
That we're going to,
Do it.
End the one.
or keep
We
the
don't want
other?
to end the one, we just won't renew it. We want to keep it for the next 4
Right,
months, yeah.
yeah,
So the motion would have to be is to extend the sexual molestation
Yep.
policy.
And so the way this would work, we have, like we said, we have coverage in place through May 10th. And then to take advantage of what they would call an extended reporting period would be, we'll have to formally or request that from the carrier and proactively, which we can do, no problem, we have plenty of time, on the abuse molestation piece of it.
Do you have to do it 1 year at a time, or can we ask for the
I can
2
find
years?
out.
Yeah, see
I
if we
can
could
ask.
do 2 years and just get it done
Get it
so we
done
don't
with.
have a slip up on liability coverage.
You second? I'll second. You ready?
Go ahead.
I just, I just want to make sure with Andrew, do they need to formally agree that they're not going to renew the
Yes.
medical?
I think that should be part of the motion.
Make an amendment that,
We're not ending it early, but we're not renewing the medical professional.
make an amendment that we will not be renewing the medical professional when it's due up in
May?
May.
I'll second.
Okay. We have an amended motion to end the medical when its coverage comes due and continue with the molestation part of the policy,
Up to 2 years.
up to 2 years.
That way, if you can get 2 years, and then
Or-
do it.
No more than 2 years.
No more than 2 years.
Okay. Are you good?
Andrew, you good?
Yeah, I think for 2 years, of course, you may have to vote on it next year if we can't do a 2-year renewal, but that's fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Okay.
Anything else for us, sir?
I do just a few items here. This is an updated, do you mind passing that around the horn there? I'm not sure if there's.
Don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Most important.
We're good.
This is a 5-year loss summary for the county. We break it out by each coverage line so that it's, transparent and specific to what the different coverages are, because there are quite a few different coverage lines. It shows loss ratio by year, as well as the aggregate loss ratio for that coverage line over the last 5 years. And then it also shows aggregate 5-year loss ratio for the county as a whole on the second page. Overall, we haven't had a ton of issues on the package policy. We do have a 47% aggregate loss ratio for the county as a whole over 5 years. One item to note on that is that the cyber event is included in that for those current losses and are contributing to that higher overall aggregate loss ratio. I would view the county still as in a favorable current light to go to market and to get options, as we always do. We've proactively, our team already internally has engaged, I believe it's 7 different carriers already to look at underwriting the package policy. It's currently with Travelers. Before Travelers, it had been with Liberty Mutual before that. So we are already working with carriers to go through that process. And Susan, I know it's your favorite time of the year. But there will be a decent amount of applications and fact-finding that comes with that as far as just re-underwriting the account for the renewal. Susan in her office has always been gracious enough to help us or point us in the right direction of who we need to talk to get information. Susan Korchik in our office, Susan, will likely be sending you some of that information as a request for the renewal probably later this week. So we're well out ahead of it and it's not becoming a time-sensitive issue. If you have questions, just as always, reach out to us and let us know we can help you. But we'll try to streamline that process as best we can for you based off of prior records and then what they're requesting this year. So.
We're going to have more options now that Sunny Meadows is no longer part of the package?
That would be the hope. We'd already broken out Sunny Meadows previously.
Okay.
So it really isn't changing the viewpoint of these package carriers just because they were already breaking out regardless.
Okay. I didn't know if you had a separate.
Yeah. The Sunny Meadows was always one of the issues that we had. The other issue that we will remain to have is the jail being older in some of the jail reports that we've had because of it. We do currently break out the law enforcement as well. So we'll hopefully we've broken out the coverages that we needed to get the proper coverage at a competitive price, but also open up as many options as we can for the renewal.
Good.
So, and like I said, we're already working on that. We've been working on that for almost a month now. And we'll be aggressively working with Susan on it now to make sure that we're well ahead of it so that we can meet with you guys and give plenty of time to go through options and make the wisest choice.
Any questions, comments, gentlemen? Hearing none, we appreciate your help, sir.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch, Susan, and let us know we can help. Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I believe that covers everything on our agenda. Nope, I'm wrong. Go ahead.
Okay. In December, Bill was president, we had the credit card catalyst form for surveyor's office, so they can start taking credit cards. At that time, you guys approved them, pending what Andrew was gonna find out with the company. So actually Jim ended up signing it, but I have that one signed. Now I have the one that actually specifically shows the 3-year, not the questionable 3 or 5 year.
3 or 5 and.
So my question is, do they have to vote again, or can I have one of them?
So I think they approved it.
They already approved it.
In the prior meeting, I think they were waiting on me saying, I approve it. We finally got the final version of the contract. It took us forever to get with the
Yeah.
Alistair individual, but we finally did. And I approve it. It's set at 3 years. The other one, I think, is on a year-by-year basis. So, one thing we didn't want to do is get involved in the 5 years. So I think since they already approved it, I'm fine with them
Just
doing
sign
it.
it, say-
Yeah, because I approve it now, and they've already pre-approved it, subject to my approval.
So, should I have Jim sign, this must have been the meeting that Bill had to leave early. Should I have Jim sign with the date that they originally approved it?
Oh. Or you could just have them, to short circuit it, just have them vote again to approve it today, and have them all sign today.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to
Approve both contracts.
approve the contract as presented. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right.
So, does Bill need to sign this because it was last
No,
year?
no,
We made a motion today, so it's.
you will sign this one.
You can sign it with today's
Try to
date,
get it
is
on
okay.
there.
You got the pen. You got the magic marker.
Does it have to be signed in blue?
No. Okay,
Yes?
I'll get your signature. So
Okay.
that is all the extra that I had.
Okay. Andrew, do you
I
have?
don't think I had anything that I could update you on the Summer Street stuff from Newville over there. We were able to get a hold of the neighboring landowner, and they're approving allowing the Summer Street lots to get all of the street easement there, because the well, you can see from the picture, the well's in the middle. So the neighboring landowner is very willing to help with that. It made sense to them. So at this point, and we could discuss this at an upcoming commissioner meeting if you'd like. Basically, there's a vacation process. I guess you could, by consensus, tell me to go forward and prepare the vacation paperwork on those two alleyway and streetway. I mean, I think that's all I would need, is just a consensus to go forward with it. I can prepare the paperwork, and we can have it at a future meeting when the paperwork's done.
Didn't we?
Maybe you already authorized me to do it at a prior meeting too. We wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be an issue of giving half the easement to one owner and half to the other and that sort of thing. I'll go forward and prepare the paperwork, and since it looks like you're heading in that direction. I think that's all I have today.
I believe you have consensus on that, so.
Okay, I'll look into how to get that done.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, sir?
No.
Susan?
Nope.
Nope.
Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. We are adjourned.